I want to bring in now Natalie Jackson. She's an attorney for Trayvon Martin's family. Natalie, welcome back to the show. A fascinating day today, and really all about this young lady, Rachel. You know her better than I do and better than most people do. Tell me about her. What kind of woman is she?
Well, actually, I've only met her once, but I will tell you, this is a person who did not want to testify. She didn't want to talk to Sabrina Fulton about this case, and she certainly didn't want to talk to police officers about this case. She was I think we have to put her into context, Piers. She's 19 years old. She heard her friend die. She heard the last moments of her friend's life. She didn't find out about it till later that he died from that phone conversation. Since then, this has become a national spotlight case. So everyone in the world has been criticizing her testimony that's been all over the internet, her interview, the way she speaks, the way they thought she looked because they thought she was someone else. You know, it's not easy for a 19-year-old. And even today, I said, Rachel Gentile had to go through it for a year and a half, and she's going to have to keep going through it. People need to understand this is not her first time meeting Don West. She's been drilled and deposed by Don West prior to to her testimony on the stand. She does not like him, and he has frankly made his disdain for her.
Right, and I think she's definitely held her own, if not edged it, I would argue. I want to play a clip now. This is one of the more contentious moments of today's testimony. Let's play this, and then I'll come to you for your reaction.
Made you think it was racial?
Yes.
And that's because you described him as a creepy-ass cracker?
Yes.
So it was racial, but it was because Trayvon Martin put race in this?
No.
You don't think that's a racial comment?
No.
You don't think that creepy-ass cracker is a racial comment?
No.
So, Natalie, let's discuss, Natalie, creepy-ass cracker, because the country that I come from, if you're called a cracker, it means you're exceptionally good-looking, and I think it's safe to assume that is not what was intended in this context. So, would you use that phrase? I mean, I'm not saying you ever would in polite company, but is it an offensive term?
It's an offensive term. However, I think she cleared it up later because if you listen to her testimony in whole, she also said that Trayvon said, "This nigger is following me." So he used nigger and creepy-ass cracker interchangeably to describe George Zimmerman. So what she explained later is that is slang in the neighborhood that she grows up in.
Right.
It's a slang word for someone you don't like.
Right. Let's just clear up. What is a creepy-ass cracker? I mean, what does it actually mean?
Well, I think creepy, you know, it speaks for itself. It's someone that is weird, that is just following you, suspicious, and just, you know, gives you the chill that makes you afraid. In Florida, and I guess other southern states, cracker is, some people embrace the term. It's just the way that nigger is used among the black community, among some people. So it's.
But is it a derogatory? Is it a derogatory term? Is it a derogatory term used by black people about white people?
It's a derogatory term used by white people about white people and black people about white people, yes.
Okay, but as far as you are concerned, from your knowledge of young people and maybe other trials that you've been involved with and so on, it would not be deemed automatically to be a racist slur.
I would deem it a racist slur. So, I mean, it's all where you're from, Piers, and that's been the problem with this whole, you know, this whole case is that people want to categorize and group certain people or certain races and think that they all have the same thoughts, the same way of speech. They don't. We don't. We're not a homogenous group. So among my friends, yes, it's a derogatory term. Around Dee Dee's friends, it means that dude. So it just depends. Yeah. I'm sorry, around Rachel's friends, I'm used to calling her, but around Rachel's friends, it means that dude. So it just depends on where you're at.
Right, I think that's absolutely right. And she clearly is from a different generation to Don West. And that led to some quite entertaining exchanges, even given the severity of what was going on. And I sort of admired her tenacity in the way she stood up to him. But there was one thing I wanted to check with you, which seems to be the subject of some conjecture. There is a report that she went to Miami Senior High and studied criminal justice for a while. Do you know about that?
I don't know about that. Like I said, I've only met her once. It was a short period of time. Since that time, I have not had any contact with her.
OK, let's move on to Trayvon's family. It's obviously been already very upsetting and distressing in parts for them. How are they dealing with the reality of this trial now?
I think for them, once again, they feel like their son is being put on trial as opposed to George Zimmerman. So I think that you can understand that. Here we have a kid who was walking home from the store talking to a friend on the phone, and people are wondering if he did something wrong because he was shot through the heart with a hollow point bullet. So I mean, I think you can understand their feelings. It's heartbreaking.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's heartbreaking for any parent to have to go through this yet again in the way they've had to for most of the last year or so. In terms of the way the legal case is playing out, and in particular the evidence of Rachel Jeantel, are you feeling quite confident that you've established now, from everything that we've seen and heard in the first few days, certainly a clear indication that it looks like George Zimmerman was following Trayvon Martin, and that could be significant?
Yes, I think that it's been clear. We've had, witnesses talk about that, but we didn't need witnesses for that. We heard George Zimmerman say he was following Trayvon Martin by his own words, so that's been clear. What Rachel Jeantel established was that George Zimmerman started the confrontation. That was the crux of her testimony. She said that she heard George Zimmerman approach Trayvon. She said that she heard Trayvon saying, "Get off." That was the crux. Her statement on those two things have never changed from beginning to end through all her
Natalie
testimony
Jackson,
and all her interviews.
Natalie Jackson, thank you very much indeed again for joining me.
Thank you very much.